Alrighty everyone, welcome back. Happy Sunday everybody. I hope you're all having an amazing weekend so far, and given that there's been a lot of problems arising out of Lucasfilm, and especially with everything related to Star Wars, given that we are of course dealing with a lot of issues related to Kathleen Kennedy and Leslye Headland with the Acolyte series, but we do know that Disney executives are really betting all things on the Ahsoka Tano show as being the home run of Disney Plus Star Wars, and a lot of fans out there are really mixed on what they actually saw with the latest trailer. There's a lot of people that are very much standoffish about this, and others are very hopeful about it. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens come this August when Ahsoka releases on Disney Plus, to see whether or not they can really kind of change course for Star Wars. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into the issue here about what's happening with specifically Leslye Headland destroying yet another major piece and creation by George Lucas for the Star Wars franchise. Not a big surprise after all. Now, we know that the Acolyte is still slated for that April of 2024 release date window. That's what they are looking for right now. And it could be a little bit later than that, depending on what happens with the strikes and everything happening with SAG, because there are still reshoots that are really being anticipated by Lucasfilm for this November. So that's what they're banking on as well. On top of this, though, there's a lot of controversy happening behind closed doors about what Kathleen Kennedy and Leslye Headland are embracing for those said reshoots for November, and how it's really going to dismantle some very big and popular character created by George himself. Now, with both Kathy Kennedy and Leslye working on the Acolyte show and anticipating reshoots for this November if the strikes end before then, one major development surrounding the show is that, of course, one thing that completely insults George Lucas's Star Wars has much to do with the 6th episode of the show. Now, part of the planned reshoots are set to embrace a complete redesign of the popular character known simply as Darth Plagueis. Headland and Kennedy decided to make an important decision to redesign Darth Plagueis entirely to appear as a hologram of some kind that will be life-size, similar to Maul's appearance in Solo. Leslye is doing this to enhance fan engagement for the show as of right now. There are very few major cameos for the series that Leslye wants to insert. Plagueis is reportedly not going to be a Mun species in the hologram, and will have an unrecognizable design, and will appear nothing like the design of the popular Sith Lord as seen on the book covers, and other various pieces of few art out there that was considered official by Lucasfilm and by reference as well in the books. Headland's plan is to turn Plagueis into a completely different character this time around by design, and personality-wise is described to appear very near similar in design to Tor Valum. Now guys, I don't know if you know anything about Tor Valum. This was a rejected villain from Star Wars Episode 9, the original take on the Rise of Skywalker, known as Duel of the Fates by Colin Trevorrow. So basically, the redesign of Plagueis now is going to be basically similar to Tor Valum, but it gets worse than this, because there's more to it than that. Now, we know that Leslye Headland has no care in the world about George Lucas and his creations. She's already making multiple retcons toward the Phantom Menace using the Acolyte series that's going to completely dismantle the prequel trilogy. She's already creating a new Chosen One. She's ditching the idea of midichlorians and getting rid of it in that sense, and also getting rid of other elements of the prophecy of Anakin Skywalker. So there's a lot of things happening with that too. On top of that, the growing number of issues has a lot to do with the fact that the Jedi Code will be completely changed and altered, and that the roots of the Jedi and their history is going to be connected to an evil source, marking the first Jedi with evil tendencies. We've talked about this too, related to the past Acolyte leaks that's going to take place on the world of Ahch-To in the show. It's going to go back to that popular world in The Last Jedi. Now, moving on from all of this, it gets worse. Now, a deleted character, of course, from Duel of the Fates, known as Tor Valum, is said to be the textbook example, or the template, if you will, of Plagueis' new design. The new design of Plagueis is also said to be a mixture of Tor Valum and Groot from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Lucas is said to have been trying to fight this from ever happening, and is trying to prevent Headland from redesigning the character from a Mun species into something completely new. Now, as far as I know, guys, in the Disney canon, he's not listed as a Mun species, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's not actually labeled as any kind of species just yet, only other than the fact that he does exist. Now, Headland is said to be ignoring those requests and is pursuing this while being relentless with her new design approach to do something original and to create shock value for the show of a major cameo in the Acolyte show of Darth Plagueis with a brand new design that is setting itself up for a major backlash from the hardcore fans who enjoy the books and stories of Plagueis. The new design of Plagueis is essentially Tor Valum encased in tree bark-like skin that's going to be very much similar to that of Groot. Now, again, here lies the bigger problem. Not only does Leslye Headland label herself as a die-hard Expanded Universe fan, this just goes to prove you guys that she is a fake fan, 110%. She goes on stage at Star Wars Celebration saying that she's a massive EU fan, and then goes on to completely redesign Darth Plagueis. And that just goes to show you that she does not care about anything related to the Expanded Universe, or anything related to the books, the comics, or anything like that in that sense, that a lot of fans, mind you, grew up with in the 90s and the 2000s leading into the early 2010s. So there's a lot of problems with this. It just goes to show you that also this is a part of their agenda to literally strip down everything related to George Lucas's creations, bring it down to the ground, and rebuild something new. That's what they're doing with the Acolyte and how it spills into prequel trilogy lore. And I think that if this Acolyte series is going to actually get the chance to do this, because like we said before, guys, it's all highly dependent on the reshoots, I'm almost hoping for the actual writer's strike and everything happening with SAG to last for well past November at this point, just so that this may not very well happen. And it may seem a little extreme on my end saying that, but I really am kind of hoping that that might be the case, just to prevent Leslye Headland from making this happen. Now, for all we know, they might pursue with this even further and delay the show just to make this actually a thing as a cameo in the Acolyte series. So, again, George Lucas is not happy about this. I don't blame him, because he loves the character of Plagueis, he loves the design, he always loved the idea of him being a Mun species, and in the Disney canon, you really can't find exactly what species he really is, as far as I know at least. So, anyways, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to morning.